Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see. Rosum has shown up with a lot of cheap interaction here. He has 4 bolts, 4 path exiles, 3 electrolyzes. There's a lot of things he can be doing to interact, but sometimes the affinity deck is just too fast.
One more time. Leduc is Samuel's last name. Leduc.
Thank you. I was wondering. Now I know.
I'm surprised it's pronounced that way. I mean, I'm glad I asked, because I would have never gotten it right. Samuel Leduc. Boom. See, that's why I asked.
Nailed it.
That's why. Not Leduc. It's not that. So that's good.
For the fans at home,
yeah.
Cedric's first guess was
Leduc.
Leduc.
Leduc. Which is really close to Leduc. Hey.
The French fowl creature.
That's why you ask. We got a Serum Visions to start things off here for Jonathan. He's fallen down to 17 from a hollowed fountain that was searched up by a flooded strand.
Yeah, and in about 30 seconds, he might regret taking all that damage.
Yeah, doesn't really know what's on the other side of the table, perhaps. He does now. Blinkmoth Nexus only played in really one deck in this format. Same thing with Springleaf Drum. There's an Ornithopter. 1 drop, Signal Pest. Pass the turn back. Over to Jonathan. He'll draw. Spire Bluff Canal. And he'll just pass the turn back. Logic Knot at the ready to counter one of those relevant 2-mana affinity spells, perhaps.
2 mana or 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Jonathan being on the play here is huge. It means that he's not going to fall so far behind. Like you said, the Logic Knot is going to be basically a hard counter to stop any big payoff spells here.
Here's Arcbound Ravager. Logic Knot will take care of that. That's a Delve counter spell from Future Sight, for those of you unfamiliar. Now here comes Signal Pest along with Ornithopter, so it'll just be a boring little attack for 1, and we'll head back over to Jonathan. He'll draw a card. Island in hand might be his 3rd land drop. Also has a copy of Flooded Strand. He'll play an island for now and simply pass the turn back. Now he is playing some copies of Electrolyze here this weekend. 3 of those along 3 copies of Lightning Helix. And as for the Logic Knot, sometimes a 1-of in decks like this, he's actually playing 3 of that as well.
Yeah, there's been this recent trend in Logic Knots just going way up. The format is so aggressive that people are always tapping out on turns 2, 3, and 4. So it's almost as close as you can get to just counterspell in this format.
Cranial Plating is the play. Spell Queller is going to eat that.
Well, that's pretty good here.
A little risky with the Spell Queller simply because of something like a Galvanic Blast. Can very easily get the plating back. It is a card that Affinity does play quite a few copies of. For Samuel, he is playing 3, but he doesn't have one here. Instead, he has a Steel Overseer.
Yeah, and these cards are just lining up very well. The way the game is playing out for Jonathan, he's going to be able to electrolyze away 2 good threats from his opponent. The 2-3 was a brick wall there. There was no Galvanic Blast coming from the other side.
Things are going pretty well for your Jeskai control player thus far. There's a Flooded Strand. Now we'll sacrifice the Flooded Strand. There's a basic island.
Are those the arena islands?
Yes, if memory serves, but someone on the old internet is much better at that than I am.
There's
Sets on lands, I'm not the best at.
Sure. Well, there's just so many fun lands out there. That's one of the things that I appreciate. Is people can be, pretty custom about, some people love the full art, some people love foils, some just have a specific art that they, speaks to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's maybe you just have too much money. And so you have the Guru lands,
you just want the goods.
which are beautiful.
the best lands, in my opinion.
But they still only tap for 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, 1 white, or 1 green.
That's true. That's true. They don't have any special powers.
At around $200 each, it's can be kind of baffling.
They are beautiful lands, though. We're going to head back over to Samuel now. He just had 2 of his creatures electrolyzed, and Jonathan did get to resolve a Serum Visions.
Yeah, I think I traded away my Guru lands for nothing. Probably nothing.
Yeah, most likely nothing.
Somewhere in the range of probably about $4 each in value.
Yeah. That's generally how that story ends. You just traded them for nothing.
You know, I could have been on the other end of things and traded 4 Guru lands. No.
No. That would never happen. Stop. Here's a Vault Scourge. Samuel empty-handed. That's good news for Jonathan because he's got a battlefield that he's not all that scared of.
Yeah, there's not really any heavy hitters on the other side of the board. Firing up these Blinkmoth Nexus takes a ton of mana.
He's going to come in with the Spell Queller here. Samuel going to fall down to 16. I think we're going to see Jonathan go towards Geist of St. Traft, perhaps. Yes. Along with a Scalding Tarn. And pass the turn back. Samuel going to fall down to 14 now. Excuse me. Ah, yes, of course, because of the Vault Scourge.
It'll give a little back.
It's going to try to. Inkmoth Nexus, the draw. That'll be the play right away. So you see 3 copies of Blinkmoth Nexus, 1 copy of Inkmoth Nexus. And we're going to be going the Blinky route. So here comes Blinkmoth and Vault Scourge. No pumping of the Nexus here. Just going to get in for 2, gain a little bit of life, and now Rosum will sacrifice a Scalding Tarn, fall a little bit lower as he searches up a land on Samuel's end step.
Yeah, I mean, this leaves him the option to activate the Inkmoth and pump it.
Yep.
So you could try to trade with this Geist, or just shrink the Spell Queller if it comes to that.
Well, it's time to get into the red zone here. Jonathan not going to rest on his heels. He wants to try to get this game over with while he's got enough control of it.
Yeah, you don't put Geist in your deck for blocking.
Yeah, that's for sure. Inkmoth Nexus will get fired up. And now that's going to jump in front of Geist of St. Traft. Jonathan will pass priority. Blinkmoth will be activated to grow Inkmoth.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Jonathan even let him block with it here.
Well, depending on what Jonathan's hand looks like, if Jonathan uses the Lightning Helix on Inkmoth Nexus can turn on Blinkmoth Nexus.
Sure.
And then you can jump Blinkmoth Nexus in front of the Geist of St. Traft and power it up with the Ornithopter plus Springleaf Drum. So I think he had enough mana to do that.
Well, I don't know. One of those Blinkmoth Nexus had a summoning sickness.
Oh, no, so he played Inkmoth last turn.
Oh, it was the Inkmoth that got played. Okay, okay.
So actually, he wouldn't be able to attack the Inkmoth for mana because it had summoning sickness.
Yes.
Yeah, so then he should have, in theory, maybe killed it before it got the opportunity to block because he wouldn't be able to activate the Blinkmoth Nexus and pump itself. So you make a good point.
Got lucky.
That's all part of life. Perhaps it's time for a Master of Ethereum or an Etched Champion. It'll be a Master of Ethereum if this resolves.
All right, that's a good one here.
Yeah. Leduc trying to fight back a little bit here. He's just going to pass the turn back, however. Path to Exile. Yep, that's going to take care of the Master. See if Samuel has a land to search up. I got 1 mountain.
Perfect.
Yep. Little Path to Exile insurance as we go back over to Jonathan. Coming in with Geist, the Angel, and a Spell Queller.
Why not, right? Let's get frisky.
Well, let's just try to get this game over with. Don't give Samuel the opportunity to maybe top deck a Galvanic Blast, get that plating back. turn the game around. I would want to try to get this game over with as quickly as I could if I was Jonathan Rosum. Fanny's got a lot of good top decks.
And it's tough for Samuel to line up any blocks here. He has some interest in getting a bunch of creatures in front of this Spell Queller and trying to kill it, but then he just gets blown out by a removal spell. He also wants to get the Geist off of the board. Same situation, though, where a removal spell is just disastrous for him.
I think it's so important to try to get this Geist off the battlefield, though. It's the one that's causing the biggest headaches at the moment.
Sure, but you just mentioned how valuable a cranial plating would be.
Yeah.
So if he was able to trade with that Spell Queller, he'd have the cranial plating back.
It's enticing as well. Cryptic Command was the draw for Jonathan last turn, so this is gonna be good. Almost no matter how you slice it, gonna get to screw up the double block here. It's just now it's about maximizing Cryptic Command. That's where we are now. It's gonna bounce. He looks like he's thinking Blink Moth. You maybe prefer to bounce Vault Scourge here?
Let's see.
Does Vault Scourge effectively cost 2 life? He does have an Ornithopter that could tap for black mana, but I actually think he needs the Ornithopter to block. So it looks like he is going to bounce Vault Scourge.
Well, and it's also good to kill this Blink Moth just because there's other Blink Moths that can pump.
Yeah, and while Lightning Bolt off of the Cryptic Command is going to make our discussion relatively irrelevant, as Jonathan Rosum is going to win game number 1 here over Samuel Ludzik. Jeskai Control up a game here over Affinity, as Samuel is not able to stick any of his power cards and cranial plating. Master didn't stick very long. Didn't see Steel Overseer very long as well, so Jonathan did a nice job of answering all the problems. Now we go over to Samuel's sideboard, and there'll be some more problems on the way. Got 2 Etch Champions, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Wear Tear, a Dispatch, a Grafdigger's Cage, a Spell Pierce, a Gear Power Aether Grid, a Bitter Blossom, a Whip Flare, and an Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, there's some interesting options here. I think the Etch Champions are very good. I think the Affinity decks almost always have to be bringing in these Wear Tears when they're playing against white because of the threat of Stony Silence. There's a question of whether or not he's going to want this Bitter Blossom as a recursive threat that doesn't just fold to artifacts, to things that kill artifacts.
Yeah, of course. Just something that's going to turn out 1/1s is probably going to be totally fine.
Yeah. And then there's a question of, like, is this Spell Piercer card that he wants in his deck?
Might be a decent enough fun of. Yeah, I think it might be fine.
It's just a question of whether or not you're diluting your deck. You know, you're watering it down so you don't have those explosive starts, 5 cards on turn 1 and then a payoff on turn 2. You know, you're sitting with Bitter Blossom and Spell Pierce in your hand instead.
We'll take a look at Jonathan's sideboard. He's got 2 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Ruined Halo, 2 Stony Silence, a Dispel, a Rest in Peace, a Wear, Tear, and Anger of the Gods, a Vanillion Click, a Supreme Verdict, and an Elspeth Sun's Champion. A lot of goodies here for Jonathan.
There are a lot of goodies. His deck is already lined up pretty well with all of the spot removal that he has, all the cheap interaction, and it just gets better. The 2 Ceremonious Rejection counter almost everything. They'll be able to get these Etch Champions and other nonsense. The Stony Silence are instant winners in this matchup if they go unanswered. The Wear and Tear just seems very solid here. The Anger of the Gods good. The Supreme Verdict is good. I see playing all of those cards.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of really good options, and he might even just try to close out games with Elspeth. We'll see.
Potentially.
Yeah, he could maybe even board that, and it is expensive, but it is a good closer. All parts of the Buffalo there are quite good against Affinity, so we'll see how Jonathan elects to sideboard. And as these players do sideboard and shuffle up for game number 2, Samuel will be on the play, but we're going to talk about one of our favorite promotions, one of our favorite ads. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's time, Craigers. SCG Game Night. In the month of August, you go to your local game night. You want some Puggernaut pins and tokens? We got you. Don't worry about it. Now, for the month of September, Old Smell Snare pins and tokens will be featured all September long. And for October, Vampire Night Fox.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right?
First time I've seen that bad boy.
Exclusive pins and tokens all October long. Got a nice little Halloween theme as well, since it is a vampire. We try to make things make sense here around StarCityGames.com. Go.StarCityGames.com/game night for more information for stores and tournament organizers. Make sure you talk to your in-store play representative with Star City Games. We can get you set up pretty easily for the next 3 months for Pug or Not, Smell Snare, Vampire Night Fox. Do it, baby.
We don't really feature enough foxes here.
I know, foxes are a little underplayed. A little underplayed here.
And also, I've seen the comment that the smell snare,
Yeah.
the creature isn't the skunk, it's the dog you see in the background.
That true?
I don't know.
Let's go back to that smell snare slide.
That's why I'm saying
Just
it
go
in front
bring
of you.
that up.
I want to go straight to the horse's mouth, as they say.
That's implying I'm a horse?
Well, it's
What
just,
is that?
Look at the puppy in the background. Is he the one getting smell snared? Is he the wizard?
So on Spell Snare, the card, it is, what's getting thrown in that thing? Can't remember. Maybe the dog in the background's the Spell Snare. A lot of focus on the skunk, though.
There is.
A lot of focus on the skunk.
Well, and the pin is all skunk.
Yeah, the pin is all skunk. That's a good question. I can't remember what's Spell Snare countering in the picture. We got to bring it up.
Yeah,
We gotta take a look
there's
at
no
Spell
way
Snare.
to figure this out.
Yeah, there's no way to look at a Spell Snare on the broadcast. So I'm almost positive it's a mongoose.
Yeah, I like this. Just keeping our engineers busy.
But it's not blurred mongoose because you can't counter that.
No, you can't counter a blurred mongoose. What are you, crazy?
No, I'm not crazy. No, I'm not.
A little 2-1 for 2.
Yeah, uncounterable.
Hexproof.
Well, when we get Spell Snare, okay. What was it?
Is that supposed to be like a werewolf or just a regular wolf of some sort? There's two.
Maybe it's a wild mongrel.
Sure, that has a cast cost
That's
of
a cost
2.
and cost of 2. I know it's definitely countering a 2-mana spell. I know that for sure. I used to be better at this.
There are a couple of wizards in that picture, though, just battling back and forth.
Yeah, they just had to take care of that little bugger.
Yeah, one threw a dog at the other one. We'll have a duel.
Yes.
Take this dog.
Yeah. Well, looks like these players are, they're happy. It's an ornithopter, it's a welding jar, it's a Blinkmoth Nexus. Well, you got to assume the goodies are coming next.
Yeah, there's got to be a pretty good payoff card here.
That's one of those times where you'd want a spell or smell snare if you're Jonathan. So it can counter a 2-mana spell. I expect, oh no. Samuel! Where's your Edge Champion, your Cranial Plating, your Steel Overseer, your Arcbound Ravager?
And Welding Jar is one of the cards that we see show up sometimes in Affinity that I've never been a very big fan of.
I like it as a fun of.
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think I'd rather just have another 0-mana creature. You know, just obviously having the insurance, every now and then we see this card be great.
Sometimes it's just really awesome to have insurance for your Steel Overseer, because if they don't kill it right away, they lose.
Yes. But other times it's like this where
does nothing.
Yeah, you've just mulliganed an extra card. I mean, obviously there's still opportunity for this card to become relevant later in the game. But the power of the Affinity deck is how quick it gets on the board on turns 1 and 2.
I feel like Jonathan may have escaped disaster here with Samuel's turn 2 being so weak. There's Glimmer Void.
Yeah, and I would think that Jonathan would be able to counter some 3-drops here, whether it's Ceremonious Rejection or Logic Nod or something along those lines.
Etch Champion. Nah. That's getting countered for show.
Yeah. How is the Jeskai control deck the one using its mana more efficiently?
That is a little bit surprising, that's for sure. Supreme Verdict to draw. Here's a Howl to Fountain that's going to enter the battlefield and tap very quickly there for Jonathan. He'll fall down to 16. Let's go back over to Samuel. Mox. Darksteel Citadel. Mana not an issue this game.
Yeah,
There's too much of it, honestly.
Glimmer Void is safe now with the Citadel on the board.
True. Here's 3 mana. Master of Ethereum again. See if this one resolves this time.
Yeah, and Jonathan's just not in a whole lot of trouble here. He's a Snapcaster Mage, I think. But he definitely has a wear and tear. He has the Wrath of God effect that we saw.
Yeah, Supreme Verdict. We're coming in for 3. I don't know how this is going to go. Electrolyze is going to target Blinkmoth Nexus. See if Welding Jar's got some interest in saving it.
Yeah, we got another one.
All right. Jonathan will draw a card. He'll take 1 and pass the turn back. We'll Samuel over to Jonathan Rosum, so Rosum will draw. He's got a mountain as land number 4 if he wants to play it. Not sure if he has another white source or not.
Yep, need double white for Supreme Verdict.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Jonathan may have a question that I have a feeling revolves around Welding Jar. So while this question gets answered, we'll bring it back here very quickly. Don't want to look at that battlefield when you can look at us. Hello. We look great.
Shows up with the accent.
Yeah, sometimes I throw that in there. It's fine. Cedric Phillips, Kirk Krempels, we're here in the booth as we are working our way through game number 2, round number 6. A take on Jeskai Control here by Jonathan. Pretty easily up a game thus far. Looks like he's going to be in good shape for game 2.
Yeah, we said that the cards just lined up very well for him in game 1. The opponent just didn't have that super explosive start. The opponent played 4 cards on turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty good, but turn 2, not a whole lot going on. His cranial plating got caught under the spell queller.
Yeah.
You know, he had plenty of removal spells. He ended up winning the game with, you know, spells to spare in his hand.
Yeah, made it look easy, and it looks like he's back already now. So he's making it look easy once again here. You even mentioned, yeah, spells left to spare. Finish him off the lightning bolt that he didn't even technically need to win the game. So Jonathan very much in the driver's seat. He's going to play a Scalding Tarn and pass the turn back. So Samuel untap. Lands Mox Ornithopter, all that good stuff.
I wonder if the question had to do with the regeneration and whether it would remove the creature from combat.
Which it does.
Yeah, which it would, if that was the question.
Fire up a Blink Moth. Now here is the wear half of Wear and Tear. Welding Jar is going to save Master of Ethereum, which means it becomes tapped now. Now here's an attack for 3. Jonathan's going to sacrifice his Scalding Tarn, fall down to 11. See what land he wants to dig out here. Keep in mind he does have a copy of Lightning Helix in hand, so he might be searching up a Sacred Foundry, assuming he has one. I'll actually go with another copy of Hollowed Fountain.
Yeah, I like his patient approach here. You know, he knows he can go down to 11. He could probably go down to 7 or 6. You know, he doesn't want to end up at 4, but he can definitely use his life total as a resource. And with the way this game is shaping up, he can just attrition his opponent out over a longer game.
Looks like we might see old Supreme Verdict now. Yep, that's going to mostly trade with the Master of Ethereum. It'll, of course, kill Ornithopter as well. But consider that a way to get that big creature off the battlefield. Now here's the Serum Visions. Draw a card, now scry 2. Snapcaster Mage, Path to Exile. Yeah.
Yep, they're all good.
Tough to pass on both of them. He's already got a Snapcaster Mage in hand, though, so I don't know if he needs another one, but it's tough to pass up on those. So he's going to actually put one of these cards to the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think I could pass on a Snapcaster Mage with this type of graveyard. you just start deploying them.
And to start maybe cantripping with Serum Visions, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Just even nugging the opponent for 2 with Electrolyze and drawing a card.
Well, at the very least, Samuel can fire up Blinkmoth Nexus here, but hopefully he's drawn something like a Cranial Plating or an Arcbound Ravager. That's a little bit better. He's going to need a lot more than that to get the job done here, but that's at least a step in the right direction here for the Affinity player. Fire this up. It's time to come on in. Looks like for just 1. See the number of artifacts there for Samuel. He's got a Blinkmoth Nexus, 2 Darksteel Citadels, a Mox Opal, and the Ravager itself. So could grow the Ravager quite a bit if he'd like.
He could. He has to be careful. He doesn't want to lose the Glimmer Void in the process. If he just moves everything in on the Nexus, the Glimmer Void's going to die, and then he won't even have a land to activate the Nexus next turn unless he draws it.
Tough thing too is that if you're Samuel, you got to think your opponent has Snapcaster Mage somewhere in his deck. You know that Wear Tear's in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So it's tough to want to make the move.
Yeah, Rosum's still working with so many cards. You're just asking for it if you make a play like that.
Yeah, he also Serum Visioned and kept his card on the top as well.
Yeah.
So he found something that he likes. So you got to assume, yeah, there are answers. There are answers. Looks like it might be time for old Lightning Helix. Yep, that's going to go after Arcbound Ravager. Again, this is what makes this matchup so tough for the Affinity player, be it Samuel or anyone out there that likes to play this deck. There's so much removal to have to contend with. He's going to activate Blinkmoth Nexus, excuse me. Modular will put the counter over there. But with that on the stack, he'll Electrolyze 1 and 1. With the Modular on the stack to take care of the Blinkmoth Nexus. And now it looks like Samuel is on E, Craig.
Yeah, Leduc has just been whittled down to basically nothing. And similar to the first game, Jonathan's still working with a lot of cards over there.
Nice Celestial Colonnade. And a passing of the turn for Samuel. He's drawn Running Ornithopters.
You put them in your deck so that you can draw them, right?
Well, preferably not on turn 100. As here's a Snapcaster Mage. Electrolyze. Looks like it's going to be going upstairs. Samuel down to 17. Jonathan will draw a card. He'll draw another one. In for 2 is going to bring Samuel down to 15.
Yeah, let's get this started.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. As here comes the Serum Visions. Draw a card. Scry 2. Lightning Bolt added to the grip.
Another goodie.
Snapcaster and Colonnade are the cards that Jonathan's looking at.
Yep, they're all good.
Yep. I think I might put Colonnade on the bottom, yeah. Gonna keep Snapcaster Mage, though.
Yeah, the second Colonnade's pretty redundant.
Samuel's gonna have to draw one heck of a Magic card right now to be able to get back in this game. Inkmoth Nexus ain't exactly it. So that's gonna come on down. We might see Jonathan get even more aggressive here. He's gonna go towards Snapcaster Mage again. This one's going to find a Lightning Helix. And he looks like he might be on the burn you out plan now, folks. Samuel down to 12. Jonathan up to 13. Jeskai control. Doing a nice job of controlling things. Samuel going to take 4 more on the chin. Down to 8. And it looks like it's only going to be a matter of time before Jonathan Rosum is going to be able to win this one. Samuel with a Steel Overseer that's going to die soon.
Not long for this world.
Nope. Inkmoth Nexus was thinking about it, but...
Yeah, he's just asking for it if he activates that bad boy.
Go ahead, bring it on. Electrolyze will bring him down to 6. Bolt will bring him down to 3.
He is on the burn him out plan.
And I think we got a Snapcaster plus Bolt strategy here in hand that can get things taken care of. Cryptic Command was the draw. Here is Snapcaster Mage. That's a Lightning Bolt, and that is going to do it. Jonathan Rosum is going to win this match here over Samuel Leduc. 2-0. Jeskai Control smashes Affinity. And for Jonathan, a player, again, got second place in our initial SCG Tour Open.